Go to the Amul product source. The closest go. It's so easy, but it's fine. It's to go.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Suzanne Nixon, Head of Food Production Department at Don Bosco College, Vidya Vihar. I welcome you to my kitchen today. Before I start, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Don Bosco College of Hospitality Studies. Don Bosco College started in 2008. We started with 13 students. Today we have over 500 students. I've been part of the team right from the onset of the college. And I'm proud to say that I'm happy to be associated with this college, which today is ranked as one of the best colleges of hospitality studies in Mumbai. Now coming to my dessert for today, Umali. Umali has a history of coming from the land of the pharaohs in Egypt, which my display clearly shows. The reason why I chose this dessert. There are 3 reasons for me choosing this dessert. 1. I come from a family of bakers, which is, I have my bakery in Panchkani. I'm the 4th generation. And the smell of freshly baked goods is what caused me to choose this dessert. Second, I've lived in the Middle East for 13 years. And this dessert is one which could never be missed. Third, the lockdown. I went out during the lockdown, and every essential store that I went, the only product that was available was curry and bread. Thanks to Amul, milk was available everywhere. And that's what got me into making this dessert. The history of this dessert is very simple. There are many different versions about the history. Some say the Sultan's wife gave it as a victory dessert to the army. Others say the village headman prepared it for the Ottoman king. But my version of it, which is very simple, is means mother, and Ali means mother of Ali. So, as the story goes, a mother prepares a for her kids. This is exactly what I am going to do today as I take you into preparing this dish, Umali. First, let me tell you how Umali is made. Everybody thinks it's a very complicated dish, but I have simplified it and made it into 3 easy steps. Okay, so as you can see on my board here, we are going to have 3 steps. One is making the custard, second is the topping, and third is the body or the base. Now let me go to my ingredients. Okay, which I very clearly showed is 1 liter of milk, 100 grams sugar, which I reduced to 600 ml. So what I've actually done is I've taken milk and reduced it to 600 ml. Okay. To this milk, I add 100 grams of sugar. Cardamom powder, cinnamon powder, I keep stirring it continuously to thicken the milk. Now, if you need a more rich dessert, I have given an alternative where you can use 400 grams of Amul Made and mix into it 100 ml of milk. I do not need the custard to be very thin or runny. So what I'm going to do is take a tablespoon of corn flour, make a slurry, and this is what I'm going to be adding once the milk becomes hot. My custard is getting done. So the slurry is being added. While adding the slurry, I need to continuously stir to prevent lumps from forming.
Mom, people are asking what you're cooking.
I'm cooking Umali, which is an Egyptian dessert, okay, made from puff pastry.
And also image of that chart. You'll send it later.
So now you can see that the custard is done. I'm going to keep it to cool a bit because what I need to do is add some cream into this. While this is cooling, I'm going to start with stage 2, which is the cream. So I've taken some Amul Cream, that is exactly 200 grams. I've added sugar 2 tablespoons into it and I've whisked it. Now to whisk Amul Cream, it is a bit difficult if you do it when it's not chilled. So what you need to do is take a bowl with ice and put the cream into the bowl, add the sugar and then whisk it so that you get a nice coating consistency. Please do use a steel bowl. Do not use aluminium because sometimes it tends to make the cream black or grey.
Anuradha Lohiya is asking, corn flour got cooked so fast.
Yes, you can see that my corn flour is cooked. It is cooked because I've added it slowly and I've been turning it around at the same time, cooking it continuously. Okay. Now I'm going to step 3 of my dessert, which is the body or the base of the dessert. what all can we add to make this dessert? Because of the lockdown, I use curry, which is the most common ingredient to get. There are other substitutes or alternates that we can add. One being croissants which are sliced. Second, bread. If we are using bread, we need to shallow fry it, or we can even deep fry it, but we need to use some ghee into it. We can use cake toast, which is easily available in the bakeries, or we can use barki, which is a kind of puff pastry biscuit which you get down south, or bakar khani, which we get in the north. Now coming back to my ingredients, what all is going to be going into the base or the body? I again repeat that I am making Umali, which is a dessert made with a mother's love. So what I am using here is puff pastry or curry. We need to take the curry and arrange it. If you are using bread or bakar khani or barki, you can do it in exactly the same way. Gently crush the curry. Now when I started, I forgot to tell you that I am having this dessert with an Indian twist. Living in India, I have an Indian twist added to this. The fruit which is most easily available right now, mango. So what I've done is I've cut mango and I'm going to keep putting it into the curry. Then I add some cardamom powder on it, a little bit of cinnamon powder, and what's going to actually give it the flavor is the coconut. So once the coconut is added, this dessert is made with a lot of nuts. So we can add almond flakes, pistachios, can also add pecan nuts or walnuts to this dessert. Then go back. I can add a second layer on top of this. I'm slightly crushing it so that whatever I've put down does not get fully crushed.
Mom, butter curry or without butter?
If you want a richer version of the umali, you add butter curry. Otherwise, you can add the plain curry. Both taste equally the same if it's made with love.
And designated coconut?
Depending on the flavor, you can either add desiccated coconut or fresh coconut. It depends on the taste. If you are adding desiccated coconut, please check that the coconut is fresh, because if the coconut is stale, it gives a different flavor. Again, I'm going to be adding a little bit of mango onto this. The cardamom powder cinnamon powder, nuts, and the coconut. Now I'm going back to my first step, which is the custard, because this come down to room temperature and I need to be adding into it my cream. So what I've taken here is Amul Cream, 50 ml of Amul Cream, which I add into my custard mixture. I mix it, and now I start pouring this. If we say Umali, it reminds us of a bread butter pudding, but one without eggs. Here we are using puff pastry as a base and giving it the flavor with cardamom and cinnamon powder. This dessert has another twist to it. It can be eaten warm or cold. So I will be showing you both the versions of this dessert. So now we can see that the custard is being absorbed by the pastry. We will wait a little while for it to get absorbed. Meanwhile, I'm getting my topping ready. Gently press the pastry into the custard so that it gets absorbed. Take the topping. So my topping again is Amul Cream 200 ml, which I have whisked with 2 tablespoons of sugar until it's creamy. Okay. I gently pour the topping on top.
Whipped cream or normal cream?
You can use Amul Cream, like I said, but chill it and then whisk it over ice so that you get this consistency. Now if I am making the baked version, I do not add so much of cream. I add a little less so that the puff pastry can be seen.
What is this item that you are using?
This is Amul Cream, which is whipped with sugar. Amul fresh cream. So this is the Umali, which is unbaked. What I need to do for the other option is at this stage, I need to bake the Umali in an oven at 150 degrees centigrade for 10 minutes. So I am giving you an option where if you want it to be baked, put it in an oven at 150 degrees centigrade and bake it. If you are going to continue with this version, which is the cold version, Then you need to put this in the refrigerator to set it for half an hour. Now what I've done is I've taken mangoes and made it into a pulp. Peel a mango, cut it, put it in the mixer and make it into pulp.
Can you use a beater instead of whisking?
Yes, you can use a beater, but be careful whilst beating because sometimes you overbeat and then it would turn into butter. Now I have my squeezy bottle and I'm going to be doing a design on this cream.
Can you use honey instead of sugar?
Yes, you can. You can use honey instead of sugar. The quantity of sugar also you need to check because at some stage some people like less sugar in this sweet and some would like more sugar.
And whipped cream can you use?
Yes, you can use whipped cream as well. Okay. So now I'm taking a knife and do this dessert. And you can see that this version needs to be put into the fridge so that it is frozen. Now to garnish this umali, I'm going to be taking some coconut powder. Before that, I have put one umali for baking in the oven. So that should be done by now. So this is how the baked version of an umali looks, and that is the unbaked version of an umali.
Can you use jaggery instead of sugar?
Can always try.
And other fruits instead of mango?
Yes, you can. It would be an innovation to umali. So I am decorating both together. Some coconut powder, mango on the top,
Repeat of recipe once it's over.
yes, definitely. Chopped nuts, so I'm adding almonds. Any kind of nuts can be used, pecans, walnuts. You can also use raisins and tutti frutti depending on what you wish to use. Pistachios.
Can you please do a recap?
Definitely. And so now if you want to plate the umali, what I'm going to do, the one which is baked, it's not yet set. And I'm going to add some mango puree onto it. And so this is your umali, how you can serve it once it's set. This is the baked version, this is the unbaked version, and that's the Egyptian dessert with an Indian twist. For the people who asked me to do a recap on this dish, I go back to my recipe. Umali, a dessert made with puff pastry, made by 3 parts. The first part is the making of the custard, where I have taken Amul milk with sugar, reduced it. If you want to make a richer dessert, what you can do is take Amul Mithai Mate and add 100 ml of milk to it, so there's no cooking process involved. You add cardamom powder, cinnamon powder, cream 50 ml is added later, and corn flour, which is optional if you do not have time to thicken the milk. Second, the topping. We take Amul Cream, which is whisked along with sugar and kept in the fridge till it becomes a nice creamy consistency. Third, the body or the base, where I have used khari, but you can also alternate with croissants which are sliced, bread which is fried, cake toast, barki or bakar khani. It depends how you wish to make this dessert for your family. Okay, then what we do is put the khari into a dish, add nuts, add cinnamon powder, cardamom powder. I've added mango to give it a twist. Once it's done, you add the custard on it and then add the topping. If you are serving this dessert cold, then you need to put it in the refrigerator for at least half an hour before you can cut it. And if you are serving it warm, you need to bake it in an oven at 150 degrees for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes till it gets a brown color on the top. I'd like to thank Amul for giving us this platform to showcase our skills. I'd also like to thank the head of the hospitality department, Miss Annabelle Rodriguez, for her constant support. Thank you, Ma'am Annabelle. And another request which I wish to make to all of you is to watch another colleague of mine when Don Bosco College Hospitality Studies would present the midnight snack at 11 o'clock tonight. Thank you. If anybody has any queries or questions to ask, please do put them in the chat box and I will reply to you all personally. Thank you.